Hi everyone, how is it going? Thank you very much for coming and stopping by and checking out the video. Hopefully today's video is going to prove really helpful. So today we're going to be covering off dead sites. More specifically, I'm going to run through the specifics that you have to do in certain regions. So for instance, in this video, we're going to be covering off Caldari space. In the next video, we'll be covering off Guristas space, and then Mimitar space, and then Amar space, so that you get an idea on what you need to do in order to run these dead sites as efficiently as possible to get the most out of them, while avoiding spending too much time in them when you don't necessarily need to. For this video, I will be using the DEDMAC or the VEDMAC, depending on whether or not you've seen my latest iteration of the dead running ship. So hopefully you're up to speed with that. If you're not, there is a link in this corner here somewhere. So feel free to click that and go check that out. But yeah, hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, don't forget to hit the sub button and the like button. If you have got any questions, feel free to chuck them in the comments below. But with that being said, let's get into it. Yeah? Okay. Okay, right. So Caldari space. We're going to kick this off quite simply by starting with the 3 of 10, and then we'll work into the 4 of 10. Then we'll go on to the watch and then the hideout. Unfortunately, I don't have video footage of the vigil. Unfortunately, that is a really hard one to find, but it is very straightforward. If you have got any questions on the vigil, please feel free to ask me in the comments. Failing that, there's a link in the description that does reference the Eve Uni website, so by all means feel free to go and check that out. All the instructions there for how to blitz them are linked, so feel free to check that out. But we will we'll get this kicking off, and we will start with the 3 of 10. So here we go. So here you can see me scanning down the 3 of 10. I'm using the technique that I've shown you before, which is starting at 4 AU, shrinking the probes down, and usually getting the scan within 2, if not 3 results. As you can see here, I got it within 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to warp in, and then as soon as we get into the site, we will start with the clearing of the first room. So here we go. Okay, so landing in the first room, you're initially going to see about 15 frigates. Essentially, all you want to do is clear these out. Don't worry so much about the turrets, unless you're taking significant amount of damage from it, which in theory, if you're using the VEDMAC, you shouldn't be. This also works with the Hecate and with the Vector as well. But essentially, you want to be clearing these as fast as possible and making your way to the acceleration gate. So first room, when you get into the site, clear everything. Clear all NPCs. Again, don't worry about the turrets. They're not that much of a big deal to worry about. They're not a requirement to get the gate unlocked. They are simply there just to just to shoot at you. So yeah, don't necessarily worry yourself about the turrets. Focus on getting rid of the first lot of NPCs. Okay, cool. Right, so we'll get rid of those and then we'll go from there. Okay, so now into the second room. Again, it's a fairly simple process. You're basically going to be repeating basically the same you've done in the first room. So rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4 are clear all NPCs. Again, don't worry yourself about the turrets. One of the techniques that I use just to make this go a little faster, which you can see me doing here, is I'll select the groups, because you'll notice that they're split up into groups. Now, this is your chance, if you've not got great skills, to control the fight. If you have got the skills and you're perfectly capable of tanking this, then go ahead and shoot one from each group. and then that will essentially pull them all towards you, and it means that you've got to travel less, and you can essentially clear the pack faster. So that's all I've done here. I've basically taken the first 3 groups that were there, locked 1 NPC from each one, and then shot an NPC in each one. That's then forced them all to essentially turn up. They're now going to fly into me, and yeah, that gets this room cleared quite quickly and helps us, because essentially we can go and sit on the gate at 0, ready for when the last one dies to go through. And you can see here I actually switched to short range ammo because they're going to be coming in under 19 kilometers, and for the Vedmak, because of the type of gun that it is, essentially if it's over the maximum range of the gun just simply won't fire. But by swapping out to the lower range ammo, I'm essentially able to clear them a lot faster. As you can see here, they're literally dying in one shot. And there we go. I'm switching out my tracking enhancer to instead of range, I'm swapping it for tracking speed. This again is just simply me preparing for the fact that they're going to be closer, and so potentially moving faster because they're going to be in a close orbit. So that's pretty much room 2, and so we'll get on to room 3. Okay, so landing into room 3. Again, approaching the Stargate is a really good idea. It means that you're in the ideal position for when everything is died, and you can essentially just speed your way through. I believe there are a number of turrets in here. I think there's like 7 or 8 turrets in this room. Don't worry about them. Simply worry only about the frigates that are in there. They're the only things you need to be worrying about. Everything else can be ignored. Turrets, as I previously mentioned, are not a requirement to unlock the gate. It's simply those defending it, which would be considered the frigates, or in any case, it would be frigates, destroyers, cruisers, depending on what site you're in. So yeah, quite simply, go through, purge these of the site, get rid of them all, and then as soon as they're gone, gate should be good to go through. And that's it for room 3. Fairly nice and straightforward for this one. Okay, let's carry on. There we go, that's that one done. So on to the next room. Sorry, apologies, I actually made a mistake there. It was only 1 turret in this room. But yeah, on to the next room, and we've got ourselves a lot more stuff to kill. So, this is the one that I was referring to. So this one has got quite a few sentry guns in it. We are going to pay absolutely no attention to these whatsoever. We're going to switch ourselves to long range ammo. We're going to pick everything that's furthest away, just so that we can start picking them off. Just because they're furthest away from the gate, and our priority is obviously to try and get things as close to the gate as we can. You can see obviously everything has now aggressed me, so I'm now going to start approaching the gate any moment now, and start kicking this off. So yeah, fairly, again, it's a simple and straightforward one with the 3 of 10. The 3 of 10 is literally it's a kill and clear site. So go in, kill things as fast as you can, grab the goods at the end, and get out. There's no real need to stick around. There's nothing significant that happens in this. There is one that's going to be coming up in a little while that I will explain to you in more detail, that does have a bit more, there is an extra step that not a lot of people are aware of, but we'll get into that when we get to it. So we're just going to purge these of their right to exist in space. Okay, let's go. There we go. So that's the last one done. So now, quite simply, we're just going to activate the gate. Again, ignoring the turrets. They're not relevant to this. We can just ignore them and move on to the last room. And this is where the magic happens. So, we're simply going to land into the site and we're going to prioritize one NPC, the Dread Gurista. Now, the Dread Gurista does use a micro warp drive. He will come charging towards you. So you can kind of anticipate where he's going to be. So what you want to do, make a beeline straight towards him, charging as fast as you can, and kill him. As soon as he's dead, lock onto his wreck, and then start tractoring him in while aligning out, getting ready to leave. There is a cruiser in here, which you'll see me destroy now. It's a Moa class ship. You don't necessarily have to destroy it. The only reason I did was just because he has a tendency to, specifically in Caldari space he has a tendency to jam you out. So by destroying him, it means that you haven't then got to go and relock the wreck again just to bring that in. So that's literally the only reason that he's being destroyed right now. But you can see here, I'm going to turn to align to leave. He's now dead. I'm tractoring in my wreck. I'm then going to turn off my afterburner because I don't need it on anymore. And you can see here I'm holding up absolutely fine. No issues at all. I'm going to pull in the wreck, grab the loot, and we're good to go there. And that is the Guristas Guerrilla Grounds, the 3 of 10. Okay, on to the 4 of 10. Yeah, cool. Okay, here we go. So for this one, essentially it is the Caldari 4 of 10. So in this one, you will be fighting cruisers and frigates. There are 2 possible chances for good loot and a possible chance of an escalation from this. Essentially, all you need to do for this is in the first room. Well, I'll get to that in a second, but it is fairly straightforward with regards to kind of how this plays out. So yeah, we'll get into that now. There we go. Tank goes on before we go in. First sensible rule: before you land in a site, turn your tank on, and then load ammo. Now I know everything in this site is going to be fairly close ranged, except for the mowers. Which, if you're not familiar with that class ship, I will try and put an image somewhere on the screen now, just so that you've got a picture of what that looks like. When you land into the first room, these are going to be the priorities. The Scout Communications Officer, I believe he's called. Scout Officer, apologies. Just referring to my notes. So the Scout Officer, the Guristas Scout Officer, he is in a Caracal class ship. You want to kill him as soon as you can. He potentially has some decent loot in him. And then the secondary targets that you then want to prioritize will be the other remaining cruisers. These are Moa class ships. The main reason that we want to target them is because, unlike everything else in the entire room, they will make a point of leaving. They will actually go away from you, and they will burn out to sort of 24, 25 kilometers, which isn't a problem because the Vedmak can hit those at that range. That's not an issue. But it does mean that there's a lot more chasing involved because they will actively try and stay as far away from you as they can. And in some cases, I have seen them kind of exceed sort of 40 and 50 kilometers. So clearing them off the field is a very good idea to get done as soon as possible, which you can see me doing here. Clearing out the Moa class cruisers, and I'm also tractoring in the Scout Officer's wreck at the same time. This again is just because there is there is a potential chance of him having some faction modules inside of him. I think I've had it one in probably 15, where he's had his overseer's effects and an additional item. So yeah, factoring that in, definitely something you want to be looting and not missing out on. Once all of the cruisers are dead, the everything else that's in the room is going to try and get as close as you possibly can. So essentially, it's just a complete clear of the room. Just wipe everything out that's in here. Once the cruisers are dead, everything's going to get nice and close and be really easy for you to kill nice and quickly. If you're using the Hecate, this room in particular is really fast to clear. The only frustrating thing is like I said, chasing down those pesky cruisers that have decided that they don't really like you shooting them. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much room 1 in Scout Outpost. So we'll skip forward to the second room. Okay, cool. So, just so that you know, what's actually happening right here, I'm actually prepping for the next room. Essentially, my drones are more than capable of killing these. So I've now switched to long-range ammo, and I've switched to the long-range tracking enhancer. Now, again, this will become apparently obvious as soon as we activate the gate. But yeah, this is essentially just me preparing for the next room, because this one's essentially finished at this stage. So we're just going to go ahead and finish off these last 2 NPCs and hit the next room. Here he goes. Watch him go. And dead. There we go. Drone's coming in and activating the game. Now, in this room, it's very simple. And this is the one that if you're racing against other people, if someone else has scanned down your sight, this is the kind of the big bit that a lot of people actually forget to do, by the way. There are many times that I've come in, found this room completely empty, and then I've walked out with 400 mil. That very large satellite dish in the background, that's your target, not the NPCs. There is a chance of, when you destroy the satellite dish, there is a chance of an escalation. Which I believe is either kidnapped or faint signal. But yeah, those are the 2 possible escalations that you can get from it. But that's where your loot is inside that satellite dish. So you want to, as soon as you get into this room, lock the satellite dish and start shooting. Make your way over to it. As soon as you get in range, essentially, it's going to be the thing that's got all your goodies in. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to kill that and grab the loot. But yeah, you can see here I'm ignoring everything else. Nothing else in here is worth killing. There is no faction loot or any other decent loot in everything else. At best, you might make a million-isk in loot, maybe. There is a very slim chance that you might make a million-isk from it, but it's very, very rare. I'm now aligned out to the sun, ready for this thing to die. And as soon as it dies, I'm going to lock onto it with the tractor beam and pull my loot. And that is the Scout Outpost. That is the 4 of 10 in Caldari space. Okay, on to the next one. Okay, so this is the Guristas Watch. Now, there is a very specific set of things that you need to do here, so I will try and make this as clear as I can. When you land into the site, you want to target the Pitham Communications Officer. There's only one of him. Yeah, basically lock him down and shoot him. As soon as you do, it's going to trigger a spawn, which I believe, hang on, he's called the Pitham Militant Commander. So you want to shoot him until the Pitham Militant Commander spawns. As soon as he spawns, de-aggress from the communications officer. You don't need to shoot him anymore. Now turn around. As soon as you've got the Pitham Militant Commander that spawned, turn towards him, take him out. He is the only thing that you need to kill in this room. Once he's dead, the gate is active. You can then proceed through the gate. So you can see here, I've locked the other guy, shot him. The Pitham Militant Commander has spawned. I'm now gonna kill him while approaching the gate. This then means that he's going to die and the gate is going to be active, and I don't have to worry about the rest of the stuff in that room. Here you go. So you can see here, I am now activating the gate and ignoring everything that's there. By the way, the reason why I was taking more damage there was simply because I had my I was basically sitting still in the game. Now, here's the trick. With this one, what you want to do, and I'm going to pause this here, what you want to do when you get into this site is you want to be aiming for the top right-hand corner of that large asteroid you can see in the very center. So you want to basically come straight forward and go up and to the right. The reason for this is because that's where the faction NPC is going to spawn. He is the prize in this. There are two possible outcomes for this. One is an escalation. One is an escalation and a faction rat. And there are a couple of steps that you need to take in order to do this. So the first one, as soon as you get into this, like I said, you're going to turn your ship and aim up into the top right hand corner, and then as soon as you've started moving in that direction, you're going to lock the weapons maintenance array, shoot that. It's going to trigger a spawn, which is going to make the, what's his name, the Pitham Militant Supervisor. He's then going to turn up. Start shooting him. As soon as you shot him and he's dead, you can see me looking for him here. As soon as he turns up, lock him, kill him, and then that will trigger the faction spawn. You don't need to continue to shoot the weapons manufacturing array at that point. It's essentially done. Now, when the militant commander dies, there is a chance of an escalation, but when the militant commander dies, there is also a secondary chance of a faction spawn, which is why we're approaching this top right-hand corner. So yeah, as soon as he's dead, you'll see the faction rat turns up, and then it's simply a case of loot and leave. And that is how you do the watch in 3 minutes. Literally, it takes 3 minutes. There you go, he's dead. There's the faction rat that turns up. Kill the faction rat. And you can see, because of where we placed ourselves, we're now, well, we're still 15 kilometers away, but we're essentially a lot closer to him than we normally would have been. Then we're going to go ahead, tractor in the wreck, and grab our loot and leave. And that is the Guristas watch. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and then, yeah, not complicated at all. Okay, so for this one, we're actually doing the hideout. Now, this is one of the unique ones where in all other space, the cruiser can get into the lookout. However, in Caldari space, you can't get into the lookout, so you have to do the hideout alternative instead. This is mirrored in every other space. I don't know why that's the case, but yeah, essentially in Caldari space, it's the hideouts that you want to be running. So first room, fairly simple. All you got to do, kill everything. It's quick, it's easy. Just approach the gate. You'll get 3 spawns. So you kill the first wave, then you'll get a spawn that turns up on the right-hand side. Once you kill those, there will be, well, potentially a third wave that turns up. It doesn't always turn up. But yeah, sometimes you'll get a third wave that will actually arrive alongside it. And if that's the case, just, again, wipe them out. Fairly straightforward. This is one of those sites where there is a special requirement at the end, which a lot of people don't actually know about, surprisingly. I don't actually even believe it's on the Eve Uni website. So, yeah, bit of a secret tip you're about to find out here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to activate the gate if I eventually decide to stop scanning. For some reason, I decided not to turn my afterburner on or activate the gate. Don't ask. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so second room of the hideout. Really, really, really simple. There is a tower in the middle. You can see me locking it right now. That's your priority. Kill it. Kill it as fast as you can. Burn that to the ground. When it dies, that is what has the chance of dropping your faction loot. That is what has the chance of dropping your escalation. It doesn't drop any loot. Apologies, that's a mistake on my part. Yeah, it doesn't drop any loot, but it will potentially trigger an escalation. And given the fact that it's maybe 2 minutes long, it's not a big challenge. So as you can see, we got an escalation there. But here's the trick: once it's destroyed, don't leave. Even though the site is finished, don't leave. Between 30 seconds and 2 minutes after that tower dies, basically there's a timer that starts. And at any point between, I've got it pegged between 30 seconds and sometimes up to 2 minutes. But essentially, anything in that window, a third wave will spawn that isn't known. Because as far as this site is concerned right now, there's nothing left but the turrets, so you would assume it is dead. This isn't the case. There is actually additional waves that turn up. So you want to kill them. Once they're destroyed, sit and wait. And just wait for, at most, I'd say 2 minutes. If you haven't had anything after 2 minutes, or if you want to try and force it to spawn sooner, there are bunkers. Now, you can't necessarily see them, but they're the obstacles that you can see. I'm hopefully going to do something on the video that makes so that you can see kind of where they're roughly placed. You'll actually see me target one in a little moment. But by destroying these, you can push the trigger. The only thing I would say is by doing this too soon, you do risk removing your chance of actually getting that trigger to happen. Here I'm past the 30 seconds point and there hasn't been one spawned, so now I'm engaging the bunkers and getting rid of those to see if I can push it, and it does actually work. So you'll see here in a second, the last NPC is going to die, and there is our Dread Gurista, and that is the secret to the hideout. Plenty of times I've come into these and again found that there's nothing in this last room, but the tower's still there. And also I've come into this room and seen that not only is the tower still there, the bunkers are still there, and essentially they've come in, they've killed the frigates that were there, nothing's happened, and they've left and assumed that the site was dead. Usually that's what it is. So yeah, kill the tower, wait 2 minutes. If nothing happens after 2 minutes, destroy the bunkers. If nothing happens after that, then it probably means that at that point the site is dead. But yeah, bit of a secret tip for you there. And yeah, that is Caldari 3 of 10, 4 of 10, watch and hideout. Like I said, apologies, I don't actually have the lookout content. The visual content. These have been proving slightly challenging to find as of late. There aren't many of them out there since I released the VedMac video, so yeah. So that is that. So yeah, Caldari space, dead running. Enjoy. And there you have it. That is dead running. Hopefully you've picked up some tips and tricks from that are going to help you along the way. If you have got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below and I will endeavour to answer them as soon as I can. Following this, there'll be some videos suggestions for you. Feel free to check those out. And other than that, if you're not already subscribed, hitting the subscribe button would be fantastic. Until then, have fun. Go forth and make money. And I will see you all on the next one. Bye for now. Bye.